Hello everyone, this is going to be a tutorial on how to make a graph using the data from your cellular respiration in yeast lab. As you can see, I have an Excel sheet and I've set up 4 different columns. Each column has a heading or a title to it. You can see my one that's furthest to left is time elapsed. And I took a recording every 2 minutes of my balloon size. And I went to actually 30 minutes, I think. Yep, there we go. I have 30 minutes total. You can see then I have my control, which was the diameter of the blue balloon with yeast and distilled water. And then I tested it with Rockstar, and then I also tested it in Coca-Cola. And all these measurements are in centimeters with exception to time, of course, which is in minutes. So I'm going to show you how to make a graph showing all this so that you can see which one, in fact, had a higher rate of cellular respiration. So what you're going to first do is highlight all of your data, including your headings. This is really important. So we'll start in the upper left-hand corner, left click, hold the left click button down, and highlight all of my cells with information. Then I'm going to go up to Insert tab, click that. We're going to make a scatter plot graph. I'm going to click on that. We want to choose one here that says scatter with straight lines and markers. Click that, and this is what we get. You notice it's pretty kind of compact here. So we're going to put this onto its own sheet. So in an open space area, I want you to, on the actual graph here, because it's just an object on your sheet, I want you to right click. And looks like I'm going to have to right click again. I'm going to do it above this. I'm looking for move chart. So once I see that after right click, I'm going to left click move chart. I'm going to select a new sheet and click OK. So I have 2 tabs now down here on my workbook. One is the yeast data, and the other one I'm going to rename. So I'm going to click it, click rename, and I'm going to say this is my yeast graph. So these are the different lines. The blue line is my control, and the green line would be the diameter of the balloon with yeast and Coca-Cola, and then my red line is the diameter of the balloon with yeast in Rockstar. As you can see, this graph still needs some titles and labels and so forth. So the way we're going to do that is we're going to go up to Layout. Underneath Chart Tools here, right now we're on Design, and we want Layout. And we want to choose a chart title first. So we're going to do that above the chart. And we're going to use a formulaic way to create this. So we'll say the effect of sugary substances on rate of cellular respiration on the yeast. And then I'm just going to click off that box. There it is. We're going to now add some labels to the axes. So I'm going to, underneath layout, I'm going to click axes. And let's do the vertical axis first. And we're going to first choose, let's see. Oh, I'm sorry. We don't want axes. We actually, what we want is axis titles. Updated title. And I believe we can start typing in. Let's see. Let's just try this. We want the vertical axis to be diameter. Parentheses, we always want to put the units. It's going to be in centimeters. And click enter. And voila, there we have it. So when typing up here, I want to hit enter, then it'll insert it into this. We want to change the size of this. It looks pretty small at this point. So let's increase that. We're going to click back on Home tab, and you can change the font as you want. And change the size so that it is large enough for the instructor to read. And if it's bold-faced, unbold it. Title. that looks pretty good. And we still need x-axis labels for chart tools to layout, to access titles, and we're going to do it for the x-axis. And I'm going to put it below. And we're just going to start typing in here, and this is going to be left. And this will be minutes. Enter again, and there we are. Now, we can go back home. I just clicked on this to see if you remember what I used for font size. I want to be consistent, so I'm going to click back on here. I'm going to change that to 12. All right. So that's looking pretty good now. Our key over here, because it's taking the headers, everything we had in the top of the column and putting in, is quite long, and so it's taking up a lot of space compared to the regular graph. So I'm going to shrink that down. I'm just here. You'll notice we lost a couple, so I'm going to drag the bottom of this box down lower. And there we have our 3 diameter of the balloon, centimeters with yeast, and Coca-Cola. There we go. So we have all of them. And I'm going to do my best to move this. So I'm going to click on it. You have to have the 4 directional arrows. I'm going to kind of center it and leave it off to the right because I'm going to then click over here. You have to do it in the actual space. I'm going to grab the corner. I'm going to drag this over as close to my key as possible. Make it a little bit bigger. And there we have it. And so you can see that, of course, nothing happened to the balloon in the control because it was likely because there's no sugar, there's no fuel for the yeast to go through cellular respiration and release carbon dioxide. Over the other two, there was sugar. And so you can see that the rate of cellular respiration, because the balloon got bigger in the red here, or the squares, we're looking at the yeast in Rockstar. So there's something about Rockstar that made the rate of cellular respiration in yeast more accelerated than the yeast that was sitting in the Coca-Cola solution. What that was, we don't really know for sure, but we can speculate based on our understanding of science. So I'm gonna have you print that, and when you're on this tab at the bottom, there's the data tab, here's the graph tab. When you're ready to print that, you just click File, to print. If you're in here and you're working and you want to use the printer next door, it is 133. So I have 4 printers on my computer, but on the smaller ones, it should be installed. So you just click on that, and it should all fit, and you'll just click print, and it'll come out. Then you want to go back and you'll open up your data sheet. I'd like you to have the data sheet printed as well. However, these grid lines that you see will not be there when you print it out. They're kind of imaginary now. And so in order to insert those grid lines, we're going to highlight that whole area with the data set. We're going to right click, go to Format Cells, and wait for a moment until that comes up. And then we're going to go to Border, click Outline and Inside, and then click OK. So that has now developed grid lines. Before we print this, we want to make sure that our print area has been decided. So I'm going to highlight that area again. I'm going to go to Page Layout tab on the top here. And I'm going to go to Print Area and Set Print Area. That tells the computer that is, in fact, the area that I want to print. You'll notice that there's a dotted line here. That's an issue because what it's telling me is in this orientation, it's going to cut that off and make 2 pages. We don't want that to happen. So what we can go back and do is we can change our orientation to a landscape. And when you do that, you see that that disappeared. And then when you go to print, data will be put on that piece of paper. And you can certainly do that way. Another way to do it would be to go back, highlight all of the data that you want with the grid lines, right-click Copy, and then go back to a Word document that you have up, and right-click and paste it, and we'll put it right into that. That's certainly another way to do it. You're going to be typing up these reports, so you can do that as well. So do 2 different options for your data table, but you also want to name or title this data table. So if you wanted to do that on this piece of paper, you could do it by hand, or you can insert. So insert copied cells. Let's double click off of this. Here we would right click and just insert. And then we can title this cellular by measure balloon expansion. We're going to call this diameter. There we go. And we might even boldface that because it's important. We could even call it a figure if we wanted to do figure 1. Because you might want to refer to that in your explanation, like, see figure 1, whatever. You can do that. If you don't like how that sits and you want more space between those, you can simply click on this whole row, right click and click another insert. Actually, that was the wrong spot. Let's undo that. You want to click on the next one down, right click, insert, and then put another space. Remember, you're going to have to go back though, and you're going to have to change your print area so that it includes that. So you go to page layout, set print area again. You should have it. So when we go to print it, now look. This. And that is perfectly fine. The other option would be to highlight all that, right click, and paste it into Word document. Okay, I hope this helps.